Right, before this video starts, I know you guys have read the title, but I would like you all to know that I do not fit the Asian stereotype of being a bad driver. Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to another Monday vlog. Today, I'd like to tell you about maybe something that I shouldn't really do, but you know, it hasn't been a hazard so far, touch wood. But I feel like if any of you ever get in a car with me, then maybe there's some things that I might do that you should probably know about. So when I'm driving, I have a tendency to daydream, especially when I'm, for example, driving on my own. I don't normally daydream when there's other people in the car with me, but if say like, you know, we're both doing our own thing, or the person in shotgun's taking a nap, I've not got really anything to do other than concentrate on my driving. But the thing is, and I know this is gonna sound bad, but I don't really need to concentrate on my driving. So what I do is something that I like to call autopilot mode. So you know, you have like cruise control, or you know, like self-driving cars. It's basically kind of like what my brain goes into when I'm driving. So I could be talking to someone, listening to music, or daydreaming. There is like something in my brain that allows me to do these things and allows me to also concentrate on driving and the road around me. It's really weird. I know most of you probably think, oh, it's multitasking, but as you also know from my gaming videos, I can't multitask for shit. So what I basically like to call it is autopilot mode. And when I go into autopilot mode, it doesn't matter if there's like people in the car distracting me or my own mind's distracting me. My body kind of just knows exactly what I'm sort of looking out for in terms of like cars around me or the road that I'm driving down. And most of the time it works pretty well for me. Except there have been a couple of times when maybe I should have spent a little bit more time concentrating rather than thinking about whatever the hell it was that I was thinking about. Like for example, one time my mum was at one of her friends' houses. I think they were having a little bit of a do. I can't really remember. It got to around sort of 8-ish and my mum was like, oh, can you come pick me up? And I was like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. So I was driving from my house to my mum's friend's house, but the problem is that the road leading to her house is the road that I usually take to go back to Huddersfield. I'm from Rotherham originally, and I was trying to drive to Barnsley. So when you come sort of out of Rotherham, there's this roundabout that also takes you to the motorway to Huddersfield, and this is the route that I normally drive. I've only picked my mum up from her friends like a handful of times. I'm familiar enough with the route to go pick her up, but it's still something that I guess I have to think about if I want to get there. So I'm driving along. I don't know what I was thinking about. Probably YouTube ideas, I guess, because this was when I was really trying to think of ideas for YouTube. And as I was driving, my autopilot mode, instead of going the direction to Barnsley, took me onto the motorway to drive to Huddersfield. Now, I didn't clock on that Huddersfield was not my destination until I was halfway there. And I'm just, you know, sort of like in a bit of a daze, just sort of driving, you know, perfectly safe driving, by the way. I am a safe driver. Driving along down the motorway, it's just, you know, one long stretch of road. You can't really mess that up too much. And about halfway down, I'm suddenly hit with the realization that, no, this is not the way I'm meant to be going. So I kind of go, oh, fuck! Luckily, another junction was coming up, so I went up there and I turned the car around. And when my mum asked me why I was so late picking her up, I was just like, oh, yeah, I just, you know, like traffic. And she was like, oh, okay, fair enough. My mum is very trusting. I don't like lying to her, but she would have flipped if she knew that I just completely driven the wrong way to go pick her up. Me and my mum don't get along when we're in the car together, especially when I'm driving, because she thinks she's a better driver than me, but she fits the Asian stereotype of driving, and she's 1,000 years old. She's been driving since the millennium, and I am still a better driver than her. My mum is a terrible driver, but that is for another video. The second time actually happened quite recently. It was this weekend. I'd gone back home because, let's just say, I've suddenly come into a lot of free time on my hands. And me and my good friend Ryan, we're doing a little trip to Meadowhall to go shopping and eat a lot of food because, you know, that is what you do when you go out. So I was driving us and we were chatting, and I'm driving down this road and I want to get into the other lane. So while I'm talking, I check my mirror and I check this one, but I think the car must have been in my blind spot because I started turning to go into the other lane, and this car sort of comes creeping by my side. And so I kind of swerve a little to get back in my lane, and you know, I'm like, oh, sorry. And the guy's like, it's cool, don't worry about it. And I left my indicator on because I was trying to get into the lane again. But then I kind of paused, and Ryan also went silent in the seat next to me, and I just kind of turned to him and went, "This isn't the way to Meadowhall, is it?" And he was like, "I was gonna say something, but I thought you were just going this weird way." And I was like, "Why didn't you say something?" And he was like, "To be honest, I only just realized what you said as well." Let's put it this way, if you want to get to a destination, just make sure that me and Ryan are in the car with you, because we are both incapable people. So there are two instances where I've completely driven the wrong way, all because my autopilot mode goes by the most used route rather than the route that I'm actually going to. I'm like a sat nav that doesn't really work properly. So just as a warning, if you ever get in the car with me and I happen to be going a direction that you're pretty sure is not the right one, please tell me. Don't just sit there. I'm not gonna have a go at you for telling me that I'm going the wrong way. So remember guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your worst driving experience is. Were you the driver or were you being driven somewhere? Don't forget to check out my gaming video Friday, and I will see you all later. Bye!